Honorable Men Discord. Brittany Renner causing drama with PJ Washington for clicks. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
Okay, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you have something to say regarding this video, I'll see you in the comment section. So, PJ Washington arrived to pick up his son, and Brittany Renner and her mother decided to record the event. And I'm assuming just trying to rile up the situation to make it something that it wasn't, just so they could have reason to go after PJ Washington as a man and just diminish his brand, just trying to create something so they could have something negative to say about him. But let's look at this video and we'll talk about it after.
Okay, hold on, pause. This is what we're not doing. So every time that he does this, I'm gonna record this. Because that's not okay. I'm just letting you know. No, the thing is, this is the third time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He doesn't want to go with you. So actually show up. Actually show up and do something that we...
Alright, I had to pause it real quick. I know I just started the video. I had to pause it. First of all, bravo to PJ Washington for walking off. Fellas, we can't win in these situations, especially when you know someone's recording you. It's like, what is with this setup? I'm here to get my child. Can I just have my child so I can get on with my day? Is that possible? Fellas, we're not going to win in a situation like this. He said, can I get the bag? And she went on with her rant. First of all, she turned around to look at the camera. She had a whole presentation that she was trying to create. And he just walked off on her. Beautifully done. PJ Washington, bravo. All right, let's get back to this video.
Because he does this every time. No, it's not. No, it's not. It ain't because anybody babies him. You gonna give him his bag and stuff?
That's terrible. 3 weeks in a row.
Okay. Another thing that I'm gonna acknowledge and applaud by PJ Washington. He walked off. He asked for the bag, but his tone. He controlled his tone. First of all, honestly, outside of the recording, I don't think he would have went there with aggression. He seemed like he's malmannered. He showed up. He looks confused as to what's going on. You had a man. I don't know who the man is. I don't know if that's her father. There's a gentleman standing there silent. She's in the middle and someone's recording. He asked for the bag. She ignored his request. She began her little show, her presentation she was putting on. He walked off. Excellent work. He also maintained his tone. He's not going to get overly excited. He's not going to yell because he sees what's going on here. So he walks off, right? Now, as she's walking towards the car, you can hear the voice, the person who's recording, which is most likely her mother, saying, "You going to give him the bag? Why didn't you give him the bag the first time?" he asked. He came here to pick up his son. He didn't come here for a lecture. And the reason why I decided to do this episode is because I know a lot of men fall victim to this. And it's the whole attitude and wanting to give you a lecture. If you're no longer together, right, what's required of both adults, both parents, is just to communicate about the children respectfully. Not try to talk to the other partner, former partner, as though you're trying to teach them something or tell them something. They're not there for that. They don't want to hear that. And most times they're not. The split is usually not a good split. It wasn't a cordial split. So if I show up, and I'm just saying, to place myself as PJ Washington, if I show up for my child, I don't want to hear you lecturing me. Can I have the child? can I have all the things that I need for the child to whilst the child is with me for that period of time, the weekend or for a week. I don't want to hear a lecture. She feels the need to give him a lecture as though he wants to hear the lecture while standing in the doorway. Right? Now, at the time of this video, I didn't even know he had what appears to be his wife in the passenger seat. She stays in during the whole time, in the car during the whole time, which I respect that too, because if the mother is going to be recording, he needs a witness too, because many times in situations like this, it's hearsay or what transpired. So he has his wife sitting in the passenger seat watching all of this. She never got out the vehicle the whole time. So I applaud his wife also. PJ Washington's wife, I applaud her also, if that was his wife in the passenger side. I'm assuming it's his wife, all right? But the person who was in the passenger side never got out the vehicle. But let's continue.
Yeah, no, it's not that at all. No, it's not. No, yeah, I will. But I'm telling you right now, every single time you come here and he's quiet, we're going to record that. And hey, it's up with me. Just know that it's up.
What'd you say?
I'd love to.
What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you had one, maybe I would.
Good ass bitch.
Pussy ass
Hey, you
bitch.
wish I would, bitch.
Pussy ass. What the fuck you looking at?
Ass on my way, bitch.
Get your bitch ass out my driveway, ho.
Hey, you don't pay for shit.
Fuck you. You don't pay for shit either. $170,000 to your hoe, but $11,000 in your son's bank account. $11,000 in your son.
We call that pocket watching. I don't know if it's a New York thing, but we call that pocket watching. How you bringing up figures? The only thing that should be happening during this transition is you pass the child over to PJ Washington so he can get on and give you your free time. Because here's the thing too. This whole event to me was just amusing, because women who were with guys who gave them a child and those guys vanish and become barbers. The issue is he abandoned the house. He abandoned us. He abandoned his child. Right? He never comes to look for his child. Now we have a situation where he came for his child and you're trying to make an issue of that. But it's not the issue of him coming to spend time with his child, although you're trying to make it seem like that's the issue. The issue is the money. And we know it's the money because you decided to bring that up. As you know, he's already buckled up. He buckled up his son. He buckled up the child you both have, I should say, your child. He's in this car, seatbelt on. He's ready to leave. And so you're now you're really letting your real intentions out, which is the money. So now you're talking money now. And again, he's not there for that. Because he clearly seems like the type of guy that doesn't make time for whatever she has to say. He's done with her. He moved on. He has a wife. He doesn't make time for her. And that is what really pisses her off. See, if you don't give women that act like this, women that are malicious and evil, if you don't give them the time of day, it really sets them off. And this is not calculated by him. He just moved on. She clearly didn't move on because she just had to make sure her mother recorded her giving him a hard time when he came to pick up his son, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. But let me just finish this.
$170 for that
You don't
bitch.
got shit in your
Get out the car. Get out the car. Get out the car. Come on.
She said, get out the car. She just wants to fight it. Listen, this is unbelievable. But as I mentioned, or if I didn't mention it, I have some young ladies queued up here that are going to speak on their thoughts of the incident. And what I like most about what everyone has to say is they pretty much are holding Brittany Renner accountable for her actions. And I prefer having it done that way as opposed to me saying something about Brittany Renner, because when a man says something about a female's interactions or actions, it comes across as hate or you don't like women, which is not the case. It needs to be pointed out on her behavior how this whole ordeal transpired, but it's more appropriate that females hold her accountable, because only then maybe will she realize that she's in the wrong. Will she watch these videos? Who knows? But I think it's better served if a female is holding her accountable for her actions. So I have 4 females here queued up with their reaction to Brittany Renner, and I was pleased by the fact that they didn't come for PJ Washington in these videos. They were completely against Brittany Renner's behavior in that whole interaction, and that's why I decided to use these videos to put in this episode. So let's get to the first one, and we'll speak about it after.
Brittany Renner is a white mom biracial crash out. The thing is that these white women raise black children with the understanding of a white person, but not knowing that they show up every day in black bodies. So you can't think, behave, and act that way. And you don't know how to think, behave, or act because you're not tied to that culture. He don't owe you shit. And when we really want to talk about it, a lot of times these white women think they own the rights to a black body because a black man is fucking on them, giving them black children. So you raise your black child to think like you, and she can't understand why this man don't want to pay her more money as paying his wife. That entitlement is screaming white audacity. You're not setting your children up for success by having that understanding, and you can never relate to them. That's why I call them biracial crash outs, because at some point those two understandings, those two ideals in their head are going to crash up against each other, and the world is going to have to deal with your choices as parents by raising these fucking people, these confused kids. That's why she walking around with a motherfucking hijab on. She's searching for a culture because she don't feel tied to any one of them. And that's the problem. It's not the money. Baby is just confused. She's confused. Brittany Renner is a white mom biracial.
One thing I will say, I can't speak on the biracial experience, what it is to be biracial, because I'm not biracial. But is there some validity to what this young lady is saying? Does Brittany Renner feel entitled to PJ Washington's finances? I believe they said he recently received a new contract, and she's probably bitter about it because he's doing well for himself. But is that what the situation is? Does she feel entitled? Is this a biracial thing? Now, although I have this particular young lady's clip queued up, I can't entirely agree with her, because this I feel like might be a situation with some women in general. This has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with whether or not Brittany Renner is biracial or not. I think it has to do with just the thinking of some women. So I don't agree with her when she's making it about the fact that Brittany Renner is biracial, right? But I do understand where she's trying to come from, as far as she's trying to say that there's a certain level of entitlement by some white women. And so she's saying, being the child of I guess Brittany Renner's mother is white. I don't really know. Again, maybe the man who was standing in the doorway is the father. I've never seen Brittany Renner's mother, but I'm assuming, based on what this young lady has said, is Brittany Renner's mother is probably a Caucasian woman. So is there a level of entitlement that was taught to Brittany Renner? It's possible. I don't know. But I don't think this is a matter of Brittany Renner being biracial, and this is why she's acting the way she's acting. I think there's a lot of females that may have acted in this situation the same way, and they don't necessarily have to be biracial. So I don't agree with that angle. But I do want to, again, highlight women's reactions to Brittany Renner. So let's continue.
Renner is a bitter baby mama. She had to watch another woman get the life that she wanted. Watched her get the ring, the wedding, the family. And what did she get? The title of being a baby mama. And that ain't what she really wanted. But she let a man talk her out of her standards. She ended up accepting a baby no ring. And now she living in a life of regrets. And that's sad. That's sad. But Brittany continuously fumbles. She should be farther along in her career. She should have more to show for being the original it girl on Instagram and social media. But she don't, because she continuously fumbles, right? You left PJ Washington for cheating just to end up playing around as a Muslim for a couple months and then marrying Kevin Gates and getting divorced a couple weeks later. Like, she just continuously makes bad decisions. As soon as I seen the video and I realized what was going on and that somebody was recording the interaction between the exchange of co-parenting with the child, I already knew it was some BS. Because I'm just like, why would you even have a camera out for this interaction in case you're waiting and hoping for something to happen that you could catch on camera? But the only thing that was caught on camera was her and her mom embarrassing themselves and doing the absolute most and exposing the fact that she's mad. All right, she's bitter and she's mad. But again, this is why you should stick to your standards and get what you actually want. Because beyond what y'all say, whether she groomed him or not, if you don't think Shannon Sharp did nothing wrong, then you shouldn't have nothing to say about her either. But to the point, she is mad. She had to watch another woman get the life that...
One thing I will say, I think Brittany Renner got what she wanted. She got an NBA player that had a bright future, or has a bright future because he's still active, and he makes a lot of money. I think she got what she wanted. Now, I didn't know the extent of their relationship. I'm going based off of what this young lady is saying. I guess he allegedly cheated, and then so she left him, and then eventually she ended up with Kevin Gates. I can't confirm that, but if that's how it actually transpired, here's the thing. She got what she wanted as far as the guy she was looking for, all right? Because there are a group of women, I'm not saying all women, there are a group of women that are looking for men, particularly in the sports field, that are successful because they're trying to have children by them. We see situations like this. Anthony Edwards, and I'm not holding the guys accountable. They're impregnating these women, so by no means am I not holding the guys accountable. But what I'm trying to say, there are women out there that are preying on athletes, right? So where Brittany Renner went wrong is that some of these women who have children by these guys, they're not necessarily leaving them when they find out that these guys may have cheated. That's where Brittany Renner went wrong. Now, you may disagree with me, you could say she has standards, but if she has standards, if you decide to leave him because he cheated, why are you so mad and bitter now? What does he owe you? See, if it's about the money, since they decided to speak about money when he was in the vehicle getting ready to reverse, if it's about money, then when you found out he cheated, you could have let it slide. And I know it sounds crazy to say that. You could have let it slide and you would have stayed with him because you know you have a lot to lose because this man makes a lot of money if it's about the money. So I'm confused as what's going on with Brittany Renner, honestly. Because you could have stayed in that situation. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have kicked you to the curb when you have his child. You could have worked it out with him. And it would have been you in the passenger side of that Cadillac truck. But if what this young lady is saying is true, she left him because of, cheating, allegedly, and then he moved on, married someone. Now, if she stayed with him, would he have married her? I don't know, because I don't know what their relationship was like in the household. Just because a woman has a child by a guy doesn't mean the guy's going to marry her. I think we all know that to be true. But she made a decision to not stay with him. So then don't be bitter. Don't be bitter. Let's move on to the next clip.
Funniest thing about the whole Brittany Renner situation where she's beefing with her baby daddy is that I would be willing to bet that throughout the course of her career, if you can call it that, there was probably a many a men who were spending money on her that they could have been spending on their children, and that sort of behavior was never an issue with her until she found herself the baby mama. Now all of a sudden everybody needs to have their priorities in check. Now all of a sudden there's an issue with men spending money on hoes. Like, girl, please. You're sitting out here screaming at the top of your lungs that he spent $170,000 on his hoe, but there's only $11,000 in y'all's son's bank account. Meanwhile, that hoe is his wife that he's married to and has multiple children with, and the son who's only got $11,000 is 4. Not to mention the fact that word on the curb is he also allegedly pays $2,500 a month in child support. So $11,000 in a bank account, $2,500 a month in child support, and that's still not enough for a 4-year-old? Like, no, sis. I think what you meant to say was that it's not enough for you, because you cannot convince me you're not dipping into those funds. And then you're sitting out here trying to make this big spectacle about your son crying and trying to make it seem like your son's only crying because he has to go with his father, but then you also simultaneously made 0 attempts to soothe your son. And to be completely honest, I'm not making no accusations, this is just my opinion, but it kind of looked to me like Brittany and her mama were in that house riling that baby up before he even got there. Because believe it or not, babies and kids can tell when they're in like a tense, high stress situation. And so if you and your mama were already in the house getting hype and talking shit because you knew he was over there, I wouldn't be surprised if the baby started to cry. And a mother or a father or just a loved one in general who was genuinely concerned about the child being overwhelmed and worked up would have attempted to soothe said child. But you see, in my opinion, it didn't seem as though there was a genuine concern for the child being upset. There seemed to be a genuine concern in getting a video that you could post online to demonize this man, because what you're really upset about is the fact that he's providing his wife with the lifestyle that you thought you were going to get by having his baby. Because truthfully, it came across as though when you were convinced that you had found another way to secure the bag and secure the lifestyle by laying up under Kevin Gates cosplaying a conservative woman, you didn't seem to have an issue with the arrangement. But now that that situation's fell through, now all of a sudden you need to be online beefing with your baby daddy because he doesn't do enough and he doesn't provide enough money. It genuinely reminds me of that light-skinned girl, I can't even think of her name right now, but the baby's baby mama, the one that he put out on live, the one who made the whole song about how he liked her better because she was light-skinned and so on and so forth. Yeah, that bitch thought she was bigger than the program, and it is a hard pill to swallow when you realize that you were not. The funniest thing about the whole...
So she just made me remember something. If I'm not mistaken, Brittany Renner, I want to say shortly after separating from Kevin Gates, she made a video in her car speaking on the fact that, you know, she doesn't know how she's going to move on, but she'll figure it out, you know. And I think she was still wearing her job. If anyone has seen that video, please let me know if you saw that video. But I vaguely remember, I should say, seeing a video where she spoke on the fact that, you know, it's going to be tough because she decided she left Kevin Gates, like as though she's standing on principles and in her not just principles but standards, right? So she's standing on principles and her standards and expectations for within a relationship, but she spoke on the fact that she, although it was going to be tough, she was going to push through with the guidance of Allah. And I believe I saw that video. I really do believe I saw that. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is clearly she finds herself not having faith, but worried about how she's going to make ends meet. And so it's frustrating seeing PJ Washington thriving within his career, thriving within his family. And so you're trying to concoct some type of issue and try to create a narrative about him as a father, which is disgusting. But again, this is why I have females queued up, I have women queued up speaking on it, because I believe the message, it goes through much better. She's actually the final person I have queued up, but it just makes the message hit harder when a female speaking to another female, right? That's my thoughts on all this. I think the women said it better than I could have ever said it. And Brittany is wrong. Brittany's wrong in this situation. First of all, in matters in dealing with your children, even if you're no longer with that person, I don't care if it's an ex-husband, I don't care if it's a ex-boyfriend, I don't care if it's a one-night stand. That's between you and the person you made the baby with. Do not bring your parents into it. It's just ridiculous. You're too grown for that. You can't be on one hand speaking as though you're an intellectual or you're so mature, but yet in matters of your family, the family you created, even if it's a broken home, right? Even if it's a separate home, two parents in separate places because you no longer want to be with each other. That's between you and the other spouse, not you, the spouse, the former spouse, the former partner, I should say, not spouse, the former partner. It's not between you, the former partner, in your relatives, your aunt, your uncle, your mother, your father. It's not for them, because no matter what, they're still going to be relatives of that child also. That's the child's grandparents. The mature thing to do is to hash it out in a way where, if you can't get along with each other for not even a minute, then have family members, if you want to include family members, have family members handle it for you. Have the family member just bring the child to the door, respectfully, without any bias. Don't have the family member go to the door and make a comment to PJ Washington. If you know you're not able to see him without being disgusted or angry by his presence, have a family member. Perfect example, the gentleman in the doorway. Again, I don't know if that was a father. I don't know who he is. He should have passed off the child, and you, meaning Brittany, and your mother should have fell back and allowed him to do that peacefully. Pass the bag over. He might even gave PJ Washington a handshake, because no matter how you feel about PJ Washington at this present time, because he moved on, he's still your child's father. And this goes both ways for men also. No matter how you feel about the woman you had a baby with, that's still your children's mother. Now, you can curse them out in silence. I get that completely. I completely get that. You can curse them out in silence. Can't believe, she did that, in silence, in private. Not for social media. And I have to say that also. I've said this before on separate episodes. Not on social media. However you feel about one another, not on social media. This applies for men and women alike. This is not just I'm not just directing this towards women, men also. You're not taking your issues on social media. You're not airing out your baby mama on social media. You're not airing out your baby father on social media. It's disgusting. These things are cemented on the internet. Somebody grabs it and it becomes cemented on the internet. And your child is going to have to see that and be disgusted by both of you. Then when you're up in age and you're seniors and your children don't come to visit you, it's because they're disgusted with both of you. They don't want to be around that energy. Your children won't want to be around that energy, because when they're with you, you're talking about him. When they're with him, he's talking about her. But that's my thoughts on all of this. What's your thoughts on this? As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who's giving me shout outs. I appreciate that dearly. And that's all I have on this episode. I mean, it's straightforward. Brittany was wrong. I don't see how anyone could come in the comments and say she wasn't. Brittany was wrong. And that's all I have on this. But again, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Stay honorable.